Well, hello everyone, and welcome to my channel, Money Talk. I am your host, Yetunde. Now, this is a podcast for people who work, who earn income, you have debt, you have a home-based business, but you still struggle with personal finance and budgeting. Now, this is the podcast for you. That's right. Just stop it, park it, and don't go nowhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Guys, look, I keep it simple and I throw away the financial jargons because who needs them? Not us. Well, if that sounds good to you, I want you to like, subscribe, comment, and share. All right. Now, let's get into it. So, guys, with me, I have my firstborn son, Gideon.
What's up?
All right. So Gideon, would you like to tell the people just a little bit about yourself?
Well, as you may know, the name is Gideon, aka Get the Kid. Um, I am an artist. I love to do everything regarding art. I am currently in another path of my art, learning UX design, which is very interesting to me,
Yeah.
and I really do like it. I'm in school. I'm
Mhm.
I'm about to graduate,
Good.
and I am, I would say, learning more about finances now.
All right. Well, good. Thank you for that. Well, guys, you know a little bit about my son. Um, so regarding UX UI, just can you give us just a little bit for people who don't know what that entails? Can you just give a snippet of what that entails?
UX UI is how people um like navigate or operate or experience like apps, websites,
Mhm.
um and basically anything they do regarding navigating the internet, basically,
Mhm. Gotcha.
and how it's designed,
Mhm.
how it flows from one screen to the other, how it like, I would say, brings people back, how it's maintained,
Mhm.
how it's operated, like what other
Mhm.
designs or updates can we do to make it better.
Got it. Got it. All right. Well, thank you for that. Now, even though I do like tech stuff, a little
Mhm.
bit, is it difficult? Would you say it's difficult, this UX UI?
Uh, I would say yeah. It's a bit challenging
Mm-hmm.
because you always have to go back and when you think you have it, you don't have
Mm-hmm.
it. You have to go back, you have to change it, and then you
Mm-hmm.
gotta do some more tests, and then you gotta, if it's not what you think it is, or someone points out something else, then you have to
Yeah.
go back and change it. But it's all for, I don't look at it like that. I look at it
Mm-hmm.
as more of like, okay, this is something that can be improved upon,
Mm-hmm.
and it'll be it'll be like, I would say, ignorant not to take it.
Got it. Yeah. All right. So thank you for giving us just that snippet of of what UX UI is. But so I'm going to ask this question only because you mentioned it while you were talking. You said when someone points something out. So can I say that you work in groups?
Yes, we do work in a group. Sometimes it's not really a group. Sometimes there's one person. From when I was doing the certificate of the UX UI, sometimes it's one person doing everything,
Mm-hmm.
especially if it's a startup. Then one person is doing like the testing, the designing, the going out, researching and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But right now it's me and another colleague, Chris. who is doing the UX UI. So we're like building off each other,
Okay.
and we're helping the company that we're working for right now. Well, that we're interning for right now, is like help making us build like a prototype website, I would say, like
Okay.
wanting us to like design a layout
Oh, great.
of how one of their websites want to look like. And I would say I have stepped outside the comfort zone of that, because I didn't think I was going to be able to probably make it the way that it is now, but
Mm-hmm.
it was just the fact that I started and I was able to like go on YouTube and
Mm-hmm.
look up videos, and I wasn't afraid to ask Chris for help, because he was more than willing to give me the help.
Oh, wow. That's great. That's great. Yeah, that's great. And sorry, guys. I think my phone buzzed earlier. I try to shut down everything as much as I can, but sometimes it doesn't happen. But
Mm-mm.
anyway, let's go move on to finances. So tell me something about finance that maybe you like. Let's start with that. What do you like about finances?
Mm,
Personal finance or
it's an opportunity to grow, I would say,
Mhm,
your portfolio within the financial system. I would say like
mhm,
grow money, savings,
mhm. Yeah.
and and over time it would work. It would help out in the long run.
Okay.
And I would say that, what's it called? I would say that I did I did my best working towards that,
Mhm.
but most of my money went to food, because I'm a hungry guy when it didn't need to.
All right. Yeah. All right. So let's talk.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. So eating out, I guess, I would say, you know, let me give the audience a little bit, as I introduced him early on, he's my firstborn son. And I remember when I was pregnant with him and I told him this story. I mean, I was pregnant with his brother actually, and all of a sudden, I just heard these noises in the kitchen at the time. And I'm like, what is going on? Because I knew it was just me and him at home. And he had left my bedroom because I was lying down on the bed. And I was like, okay, I got to get up and go figure out what this dude is doing. Mind you, he's about, I think, 2.5 going to 3 at this time, because him and his brother are 3 years apart. And as soon as I got downstairs, I looked all over and my gut just said, go to the kitchen. So I'm walking, right, lightly, quietly towards the kitchen area. And I just see these, just little stuff on the floor like Cheerios. And all of a sudden, I peeped into the pantry, and Lord and behold, my son was at the top level of the pantry. Okay, he had climbed, right? He had climbed all the way to the top of the pantry, holding on to the railing, and he pushed down the Fruit Loops and the Cheerios, okay, at the top. And he was climbing back down. And then I saw him and I was like, oh my God, I really wanted to see what he was going to do. So he pushed down the boxes of Cheerios and Fruit Loops and then went to go grab his plate, put that down on the floor, grabbed a box, poured the cereal in the plate, and he was about to open the fridge, grab the milk, the gallon of milk, y'all. And that's when I stopped and like, oh, you are not going to create a mess for me today. And that's when I helped him out. And I looked at him and I was like, okay, this boy, he'll be okay. He'll know how to feed himself, you know. But see, I translated that as being like, he'll know how to cook, you know, and he can cook, but he just doesn't want to cook. But that's how I knew that, yeah, this boy loved food. So
Mhm.
he
Hmm.
gave himself up before I did. So, but let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. So, what about eating out? You know, you talked about, has it affected your finances in any way?
Yeah, I would say. Because when there's something, I would say, that needs to be paid for, or I should have paid for first, I just think back and I'm like, dang, I should have gotten the Wendy's, or I should have never gotten the candy. And I'm like, this thing, I'm like, I gotta do better.
If this is your first time tuning into my show, welcome. And if you are a returning viewer, love to you. What you doing? What is that?
That was my entrance.
Oh, your entrance. Okay.
Yeah, I was trying to make a like a
Okay.
it's fine.
The bearded one, huh?
Mhm.
You're not gonna cut off that beard, huh?
Mm-mm.
It's a thing now.
Mhm.
Okay. Mm,
But then I do better,
mhm,
and then I do better.
mhm,
It's just always like it's always like around that it's always around that crunch time because I feel like when I do pay for everything that needs to get paid for, I think my head just goes immediately to like spend the money as fast as I can to eat.
mm,
I think that's why like I just go out. And
mhm.
then for the next time when it needs to be paid, it's like nothing. There's like kind of like there's either like nothing to show for it or like I gotta wait
Mhm.
and then do it the whole cycle again.
Yeah, gotcha. So does that so how is that, well, I can, I don't even know how to say this question or ask this question. So how have you tried budgeting? Have you tried budgeting?
I did try budgeting. I slipped up. I slipped off. I was
Mhm,
doing good because it was more about me carrying cash for the food. So I
mhm,
decided to carry cash for the food
mhm,
instead of use my card, and it was working. And it was working really well. But then what's it called? But then I realized I realized that the way I was spending the money on my card was the same way that I was spending the money with cash. So like it was kind of like no self control. So I would run out of cash for food that I want to eat.
got it. Got it. So, okay, so earlier you just mentioned that when you had cash, it worked, right? So what about that? What about how did that work for you? Because you said
Uh,
the cash worked, you know.
it wa-
So what about it worked?
I would say knowing what days to go and eat and what days not, because if I had my card, I'd be like, oh, I can go like any day or any time to go eat. But because I had cash and I had such like a certain amount,
Hmm.
it kind of I felt I restricted myself to, well, I wouldn't say restricted myself, but I kept myself in a field where, okay, I only have like this a certain amount of money of cash on me to spend on food. You know, what day will I go out or what day wouldn't I go out? So
Got it.
there'd be one day that I go out and then the next 2 days I'm inside, but I still have like I'm inside, you know, I make cereal, or I cook, or I make waffles with the waffle maker, or I eat something small. And then after that, maybe on the weekend I'll go out and and spend the cash that I have
Got it. Now,
without touching what's in my bank account.
got it. Now, did you have a certain amount
Yeah, so I
like
told
that you
myself
will carry? I mean, was it a weekly amount that you have or a monthly amount? This cash that you had for eating out, was it weekly, bi-weekly, monthly? Tell us
I
about.
w- it was biweekly. So what
Okay.
I told myself was I take out $100 and then I'll use the $100 to spread out between the 2 weeks before I get paid again.
Okay.
And then it worked. There would be times where I had the $100 for the 2 weeks, and by the end of the 2 weeks, before the next check, I'd have like $50 left over or like $30. But then I would have like another 100 from the next check. So
Mm-hmm.
now I have $130 to spend on food or whatever. And
Got
it worked after a time.
it. Mm-hmm.
And then I got caught up in my head saying, "Oh, I have like how I said I had 130. I was like, oh, I have $130. I this will roll over to the next time I get paid." And it didn't roll over, and then I had to start over again. And I think that was the frustrating part because I knew what
Mm-hmm.
was going on,
Yeah.
but it's just my well, like you say, my ego really was like, yeah, I'm good.
Mm-hmm. All right.
But
All right.
yeah.
Well, good, good. Thank you for sharing that piece of it. So I'm sure you kind of learned some lessons along the way, especially with eating out. Again, as my son said, he struggles. It's not that he doesn't budget. He tries to budget, but it's there's struggles, and that's why I wanted him to share his story with you. He's a young adult, and of course young adults, eating out is a thing, and which is okay. um, but I just wanted him to share his struggles, and his struggle is just eating out, and that's for many other people. And that's why a budget is good. And it doesn't matter, even though you've tried, you just keep trying and just keep trying. You may slip, as my son, you heard him, he slipped up and then he tried again, he slipped up and just try again. And I know for some people, if you keep trying and trying and it, kind of doesn't work, it just means um, maybe there's a particular, maybe the system that you're using doesn't fit, right? With you. So you just have to keep trying what works for you, right? That's just the that's what you want to do, because we all just want to be able to save, and we all want to be able to eat whenever we want to eat out and just enjoy ourselves. So again, a budget doesn't restrict you. A budget just tells your money where to go. Um, so with that said, any lessons that you learned, or that you are maybe searching? Have you tried other methods? Because I know you said the card didn't work. The cash worked, but then again, you kind of slipped back into the card. So what is it that, I guess, well, I should first say, what are you gonna do moving forward?
Uh, what I'm gonna do is, well, I one thing for sure is I need to learn self control. Well,
Mm,
I have to continue self control, not learning,
mm,
but
yeah.
continue self control.
Hmm.
Because I have been thinking about like what I am gonna do and like what I need to do.
Hmm.
And I think holding like a certain amount of cash with what I get helped me
Hmm.
because I would say my it would I would say it was more I was more efficient, and I wasn't taking out of my savings.
Yeah, I gotcha. Okay.
So I think that one I
Mhm,
have to continue self control. I'm gonna go back to holding cash to like eat out.
mhm,
Uh, I'm going to go into other forms of steadily growing my income,
mhm,
like the fidelity that we had set up,
mhm,
and that one grew, which I'm happy
mhm.
about.
Yeah,
Even though it's like an exponential, but it still grew. So
yeah.
that means like I'm moving in the right direction.
Mhm,
I'm going to I'm going to do the money market. I'm going to move into that,
mhm,
and I'm going to I'm going to do the what's it called, the two money markets that you helped me uh find out about, the
mhm,
alley and then
mhm.
the CIT, and then maybe another one, like a third one,
Mhm.
and then from there just keep going up, building up.
Gotcha. Now, just so you know, guys, we're just doing research right now. So the financial institution that my son mentioned, Ali, CIT, and others, we're just researching money markets right now. For those of you who want to, uh, try money market, you can go on to bankrate.com. I don't get any commission for them for publicizing them or promoting them, I should say. I really don't. But if you go to bankrate.com, you can do your own research and see what money markets account is good for you. I just feel that it's a better, uh, um, it gives you a better return at the end of the month instead of the 0.02% from our regular banks. So yeah, but thank you for that. So when you talk about, you know, um, the food, self-control and all of that, what lessons can you advise your peers out there that you've learned? So what advice would you, lessons learned or
I would say don't be afraid to ask the questions. Um, don't let uh ignorance get in the way of knowing what you have to do versus what you want to do. You know, uh, keep looking for ways to move up in whatever you're doing. You know, and don't be afraid to accept help and admit that you're wrong. I would say
and what was the last one?
admit that you're wrong.
Oh, admit that you're wrong. Yeah. Humility, guys. Humility is the thing. And you can find that in the book of Luke 14. Humility, just information is power. And if you don't know, just ask somebody. It really doesn't matter. Just ask somebody and don't be ashamed. You're trying to get better. Um, you're trying to get your finances in order. And all of us want to, right? Even your health, if you know nothing about health and wellness, and maybe you have some kind of illness or something like that, find out, research, talk to somebody, get those questions answered that you have. Don't be ashamed, don't be. So, well, thank you for that. But one other thing, and I should have asked that question before, lessons or advising people, but it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
What about budgeting? When you hear the word budget, what does that mean to you?
Mm-hmm.
When someone
That
say
means
budget, because I know
that,
I say it and I know the reaction I get from it.
yeah, I would say that it doesn't uh I don't feel any type of way about it. It just means that there's some things that you gotta put first
Mhm.
before doing what you want.
Priority,
Yeah.
prioritize, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Okay. So it doesn't mean something negative, like, oh, I can't spend my money.
Mm-hmm.
All right. All right. Well, I'm glad you feel that way. So, wow. Well, just before we go, guys, I'll ask Gideon, any last words that you have for the people? And don't worry, guys, I'm gonna bring him back. You know, last time you saw my second born son, and this week you're seeing my first born son. Um, but I'm bringing both of them back. This is how we do life together, all three of us. So, any last words you want to say before we go regarding finances?
Be smart
Be
with your money.
smart. Definitely be smart with your money. Yes, indeed. And again, guys, like I said, my son alluded to it earlier. Even though you create a budget and you slip, it is okay. Get back up again. You know, because we're human beings, we tend to go back to what we're comfortable, what we're used to. But don't do that. Change. You know, change is good. Change is a breath of fresh air, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it just helps out. It gives you peace. And when you know you have savings or like an emergency fund, um, and you go through some, you know, a situation pops up for some reason, right? You
Mm-hmm.
can be able to, you know, go into that savings and solve the issue, right?
Yeah.
So you don't want to start borrowing from people, family members, friends, and then of course they start looking at you when you're going to pay them back, right? Or use your credit card. Um, oh, by the way, do you have credit card? You want to tell the audience?
No.
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 Yeah. No. I try to tell my boys, no credit cards here. You can do it maybe after you leave, but not here.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's good to have your own money and build your own wealth. And guys, look, it is doable. Okay? It is doable. All right? You can be in school, you can work, and you can save at the same time. It is doable. All right. Well, I just want to thank you, Gideon, for joining me. And again, guys, like I said, I will bring him back to give you updates on where he is and how he's doing, and you know, just to share. We're all three in this journey together, and one thing for me is to see my boys successful in every area of their life, every life path. You know, finances,
Mm-hmm.
relationships, careers, everything. So, and I want the same for you as well. All right. Well, till next time, guys. Love and